Good. Is it afternoon or morning? Afternoon, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. How you all doing? Just trying to be formal. I know that one of the problems we have here in Nigeria is, you know, uh, affordability of food. It's really a big deal. And, for us to actually work well as a developer, you need food, right? And that's why I consume a lot of food. So I said, I need to actually talk about something that can actually solve a problem in the field of agriculture, which will make food more available. Because if there's a lot of resources, it's going to come, food is going to become cheaper, and we are able to what? Learn and be very, very productive. Yeah. So today, my topic will be centered around um, AI for sustainable agriculture in Enugu State. I'm actually waiting for the slide to come up. But yeah, okay. About me, let me just give a brief about myself. So I'm Boniface Emmanuel chosen. Next slide, please. I'm a machine learning research engineer, also the president and founder of Algorithmic Explorers Community, which is geared towards moving people's curiosity to collaboration, solving real-world problems using artificial intelligence. Yeah, I'm just passionate about artificial intelligence. That's just me. Next slide. Yeah, I think from what the first speaker said, this actually made me say, okay, actually on the right track because it says here that the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. And what gave me this perception was when I got a rejection from Bank of America. So I decided, because I wanted to do my internship at Bank of America, then I just said, okay, I have to stay in Nigeria, right? It's not a problem. So I need to solve Nigerian problems. So I reached out to one of my professors. So I told him, sorry. So I reached out to one of my professors. So I told him that, yeah, I got a recommendation for Data Science Nigeria. That should I go work with them? Then he told me that he's actually one of the people actually building AI policies for Nigeria. And also, he said something again that most models used in Nigeria are imported. That is, most models we actually use today in Nigeria are mostly what? Imported. So I told myself, okay, this is a challenge. That means I should start building models that are Nigerian originated. Now the problem is data, but I'm going to explore it as I go further. Next slide, please. So, okay, next slide, please. Now, I always like to talk about the why. That's the purpose, we're going to explore the role of AI in agriculture. We're going to also discuss practical applications for AI for farmers in Enugu State and Nigeria. And also, we are also going to showcase a tool for improving agricultural productivity and sustainability. I'm going to show you a tool I built, an AI model I built for Enugu State. Also got to be precise. Next slide, please. So our agenda is also is to go through this 4 key stuff: precision farming, weather forecasting, crop monitoring, and practical AI solutions for local farmers. I know I may be digressing a bit when it comes to crop monitoring, but I'll be talking about also fish farming, balancing the both so that it touches both animals and plants. So next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. We have a problem in Nigeria. I'd like to talk about the challenges first. When it comes to productivity, uh, 30, Nigeria is 30% behind the world when it comes to agricultural productivity. And this is a problem because 90% of farmers in Nigeria are small scale farmers, that is smallholders farmers. That is, we just produce in low quantity, that we don't produce in like a huge quantity. I was a farmer 10 years ago, so I could relate because my mom, we use half plot of land to cultivate ugu at that point in time. Then we go to the market to what? Sell them. But that was in a small quantity. Another problem is climate change. Yeah, climate change is here with us. And over the past decade, there have been a rise at a 2 degrees Celsius rise in um, temperature. That is the temperature. And weather unpredictability. If you notice this year, um, there was a period we were actually expecting rain, and the rain didn't come, right? So it's, we are not really certain about the weather, and this is a problem here. So another aspect is resource scarcity. In Enugu, one of the resources that is very scarce is water, right? And if you are a farmer that is actually depending on rainwater with climate change, that is weather unpredictability, definitely there will be low productivity, right? So another aspect is limited access to modern tools. Yeah. In fact, if it asks 90% or 70% of most farmers, most of them don't even use tractors. Talk more of modern tools to track their whatsoever they are producing. Next slide. So the question is, what is AI in agriculture? I'll first of all address what AI is. AI is, next slide please. AI is the computer thinking like human beings. I like making it very simple. The computer thinking like human beings. Remember when you were small, you will be showed different items. Like take for example, you want to teach a child how to recognize numbers. You say 1, 2, 3. The child will actually be struggling. That is learning. Are you getting it? So in that process, when the child recognizes the number later, that is testing, he'll be able to recognize that number. Why? Because he understands the pattern. Same goes for every tools we actually see. And that's the same way the computer thinks, and that's just what AI is. Next slide. So these are the key ways through which AI can transform agriculture globally. The first one is precision farming. Second one is crop monitoring. And the third one is predictive analytics for weather, for weather. And these are what I'm going to be covering. So, next slide. So, what is precision farming? So I'll just give you a practical explanation so that will save you time to explain what precision agriculture is. I'll give you a real life example of what I actually have done in the past. So take for example, you want to plant crops, right? Everybody plants crops, right? And as you want to plant crops, you want it to produce a lot of them. Like you want to have huge produce. So what comes to your mind is to apply fertilizers, right? To make it grow fast. But most of us, we just go get any fertilizer, right? Apply to the farm or to the soil so that it could produce very fast or the crop could grow very fast. Yeah, but what I actually did is that most of the common staple food in Nigeria, then we also, most of the common staple food in Nigeria like yam, maize, cocoa, millets. So we got data about them, the soil, the pH of the soil, which will be captured by sensors. Are you getting it? So based on the nutrients in the soil, we are going to help you know which fertilizer to use. And that's what precision farming is all about. And yeah, I presented it at an international conference that is last 2 years. So basically using sensors for data collection and AI algorithms to analyze the crop growth and irrigation needs. Next. So one of the benefits of this is it's going to reduce input costs. It's going to improve yield. When I talk about reduce input costs, like you're not going to spend money buying the wrong fertilizer. Let me use a practical example. Then improve yield. Because you are using the right fertilizer for the right kind of soil, it's going to produce more. Then sustainable resource use. Let me give you a good example. Take, for example, when we were in primary school, we all study what we call crop rotation, right? Yeah, crop rotation. Now, in crop rotation is that you will plant a certain crop on a certain land. Then after some years, you bring another crop there so that it could augment for the lost nutrients. Another one will produce it there. So as somebody who wants to like stay with planting a specific crop, and you don't want your the land to degrade or to degrade. Let me use that word. So what you do is making use of the last example I talked about. You'll be able to know the right manure for that right soil, monitoring other parameters that are involved, which makes our environment more sustainable, more safe. Yeah. So I've shared with you a real life example. Next slide. Crop monitoring in AI. I think this reminds me of a project I actually did. For someone, a friend of mine. So one of the common food planted, common crop. I don't know what it says, crop or plant. Planted in Onsuka is Onsuka yellow pepper. So they want to know the disease, the type of disease, when they just take the pictures of that plant so that the farmers will be able to know if that is, they know the exact disease so that they can be able to administer the right drug. Because most times when we come to farms, like my mom do, most times, she just go, oh, the leaves is turning yellow. Maybe I should just go ask. Then they will just give you something. Maybe even the person giving you the drug to administer to the plant self is even an illiterate, doesn't even know about it. He just work with experience. But it's still part of learning though. But in this case, instead of wasting resources, you could just take a picture of that plant. Then it's going to tell you the exact disease. How do we do that? Just collect those plants that snap these different diseases that are predominant in that area, properly label them, then we give them to the AI algorithms to learn from them. So basically, when taking those pictures, it's going to, detect those diseases, and it's going to help us get better yields. So yeah, and also improve pest management too. So this is weather forecasting with AI. Next slide. Most times, whenever we want to check the weather, we have to go to Google, and we tell them what is the weather for this so time. It's just going to tell us maybe for that particular period of time. So, but when we are working with localized data, I actually worked on something like this. I'm going to show it to you. That is when as we go further. So, because of the unpredictable climate patterns, lack of localization and real-time data. Let's go continue. How AI would improve this is by using machine learning to improve the accuracy of weather prediction. Next slide. The truth is, technology is not just about machines. It's about making a difference. So with AI, farmers can actually transform their practices, improve yields, and secure a sustainable future. Let me show you something. So this is like the prediction result for weather. So if you check for rainfall, it shows 0.0 meter. And it also shows you that from December 6 to December 12. And if you check yesterday, there was not a single raindrop in Nsukka. So continue. So how can AI be accessible? Through low-cost solutions. And that is the truth. True local cost solution tailored to the local context. That is using localized data to train the model and making it affordable at low cost. Next slide. The impact it's going to have on Enugu State is that it's going to just improve the food security in Enugu. Next slide. So the vision is just to help transform agriculture in Nigeria and beyond. Finally, I'm going to end on this note. The future of farming is in our hands. So by embracing AI, we could cultivate a more sustainable, efficient, and prosperous agricultural landscape together. So thank you all for listening.